So, we have game 2 of this Sixers Celtics series. Joel Embiid, MVP, freshly back and blocking everything. As, of course, the Sixers surprisingly took game 1 and the Celtics need to respond at home, and Jaylen Brown was ready for the task. As he was as sensational as in game 1 in this first quarter. He had like 13 points once again in this first quarter, and then Marcus Smart got to cooking, which was... I didn't like it at first, but he had it actually going, and he hits this tough fadeaway, and he put a lot of pressure from the post on their guards, which in the end actually worked out in Boston's favor a lot, in my opinion. Here's Robert Williams, who gives it to a wide open Grant Williams. Wide open, man. PJ Tucker got lost there, which happens to all of us, I suppose. Here's a... Joel Embiid blocks Jaylen Brown. Here's a... and the Sixers finally could run in transition there, even though they didn't get a bucket. And Al Horford has looked washed, and he couldn't buy a bucket. He finally knocks one down here, and the Celtics have a 12-point lead. He's hyped up as you know it. And wouldn't it be funny if he finally became washed up against the Sixers? If you know, you know. 10-point lead after this Jaylen Brown 3-ball. He has looked sensational, man, when he's been this aggressive. Derek White finally finding his footings in this series. He got going here in this third quarter, and that bodes really well for the Celtics going forward. And as you could see, this thing got out of hand real quickly. Harden doesn't get the call there, and Malcolm Brogdon just walks into this free ball. Can't allow that, man. He had it going, and they just allowed it. And this game, like I said, got out of hand instantly, as Boston ties the series. Jaylen Brown with 25, 4 steals, 4 assists, 2 steals, pardon me. And Jason Tatum had 7, 7, and 3. He didn't even have to play that well, played just 20 minutes. He was solid overall, really good defensively. Got just too many foul calls, and it didn't matter tonight. Didn't respond offensively, which I think in the end bodes really well for the Celtics, because you know he's gonna have at least 1 or 2 really good offensive games, and probably more. Even though what I noticed, and we sometimes tend to forget, that this Celtics offense doesn't really create a lot of good looks for him, right? He has to create looks for himself all the time. Whether he needs to just get going in transition, I don't know. But the Sixers transition defense wasn't that bad, especially against him, because he's just not, that fast going to the basket. And I just dislike his overall layup package. I talked about it in game 1. I think he just has a weird... I don't know, man. Whenever he goes to the rim for layups, I don't know, man. I just feel like he doesn't have the back. I don't know how to describe it. It feels like I'm watching myself going to the rim trying to score, man. And that's not a compliment as much as I wish it would be. What doesn't bode well for the Sixers is... for the Celtics is Al Horford. I don't like how he's been playing, man. He looked solid enough defensively tonight, but I've had a really bad vibes from Al Horford this series offensively so far, and I guess the defense has not been as bad, but hey, he is also, everyone in the end has to finally stop being good eventually. As Derek White, like I said, found his footings offensively, which bodes really well. The same goes for Marcus Smart and Malcolm Brogdon. Marcus Smart on the elbows, on those post-ups, actually feels like a really good thing to do for Celtics. First of all, he has the strength, so if you get him posted up on Maxey, on Jalen McDaniels, on Georges Niang, or the guards, maybe even Harden. Harden has the strength, but at the same time, you're making them work, right, defensively. And Marcus Smart has this weird bag and irrational confidence that it doesn't appear to be as bad of a look as it felt like to me. So we'll see what they do with Marcus Smart going forward, but it was interesting to see him more on the elbow, and he did a lot of good things defensively, set the tone, I felt like. Robert Williams also did set the tone defensively, and Malcolm Brogdon shooting lights out from the 3-point line, has been shooting lights out from the 3-point line, so that's both really well for the Celtics. Grant Williams getting a good run, shooting well. Those are all things that play in Celtics' favor. They shot 20 of 51 from the 3-point line, man. That's crazy. They are not gonna shoot this well every game, of course, but they created a lot of really good looks, man. Sixers looked really weird defensively tonight. They looked kind of out of sync, which might make sense, right? Embiid missed 2 games, so and it's been like 13 days, so it makes sense that they are a little out of sync, I suppose. And of course, if the Celtics just don't turn the ball over, it bodes really well for them, because one thing that the Sixers looked really well in was the transition, I feel like. And Tyrese Maxey looked sensational in transition, which makes sense, of course. And against this set defenses, it doesn't bode well for any of these teams, obviously, because both teams, when they are set, are really good defensively. But with the Sixers being out of sync tonight, that the Celtics control the turnovers was crucial. What bodes well for the Sixers is James Harden. I liked how he looked today. He didn't shoot the ball well, but I think he created a lot of good looks anyway. And you know he's gonna knock down more than 2 shots out of 14 eventually. So I liked how he's looked physically. He just looks healthier to me and in really good shape. So that's really good for the Sixers in my opinion. Embiid, I loved that they tested him. I loved that they just went at him. You know, he's obviously not 100%. He might block you here and there, but he's gonna get tired by playing that much of a defense when you put that much pressure on him. And he obviously isn't physically completely healthy, so it makes sense to just keep trying him, man. Just don't let him stand there and be a fear factor only. So that's what I liked, really. And Tobias Harris, I gotta give credit to Tobias Harris. I liked how he's played so far this series.